Hey, my friend, if you want to guarantee that you have a successful marriage, you want to hear what I'm about to talk about in this video. Listen, in the world that we live in of relationship advice, like 5 ways to know that she's into you, or if a man is serious, he will do these 3 things. Relationship has become complicated, confusing, and a bunch of game playing. And so I know it may sound like a bold statement for me to say, I guarantee you'll have marital success, but after decades working with thousands of couples, I truly believe that if 2 people in a marriage will focus on these 3 keys, their chances of that relationship not working out slim to none. So what I want to show you in this video are 3 keys that I believe will ensure that you end up with a successful marriage. That's today on Relationshots. All right, let's get to it. 3 keys to a successful marriage. I think one of the problems we have today is there is so much advice on relationships and tips and tools and ideas and ways to approach it and plans. And it's almost like when you go to a restaurant that has a menu that's like 30 pages thick, you almost can't decide on what to pick because there's too many options. And I believe marriage is actually very simple, not easy, because people are complicated, people are selfish, people got issues, but the concept of how to build a great marriage is pretty simple. And I believe there are 3 key things that if you can just focus on and execute these 3 things, I promise you, you will have a successful marriage. So number 1 is intentionality. Listen, one of the problems many couples have that are struggling today is they have bought into the myth that is put forth by romantic movies and romance novels and even our experiences in the dating process. And the myth is simply that in a good relationship, the things that are important just naturally happen spontaneously, organically. They don't feel forced. They just occur. And you know what? That's a myth. Sure, did that happen in the dating process? Yeah, probably quite a bit, because dating just has a different agenda than marriage. Dating is a different relationship than marriage, right? You're curious about each other. You're learning about each other. Everything you're doing together is new. There's novelty. There's discovery. You're putting your best foot forward. And then you get into a marriage relationship, and marriage is different. Marriage has responsibilities, dating doesn't. It has relational dynamics, dating doesn't. It has relational struggles and issues that dating does not. And so a lot of people have bought into the myth that they get married and then the things that are important to the marriage are not just spontaneously, organically happening. And they go, we're in trouble, something's wrong. You're not in trouble, you're in a normal relationship. And healthy, successful marriages are built on intentionality. So don't buy into the myth that, well, I shouldn't have to tell them what to do. They should just know. Like, I get it over time if you told the person like 52 times, like, this is something I need, and they just aren't getting it. That's why you need outside help. But generally, you got to learn each other. You got to teach each other, and we change, so you got to keep teaching each other. But I believe that once you discover what is important for your relationship so that you feel connected, so that you're thriving, once you discover what it is, you now have to be intentional to make sure you're prioritizing those things and making sure they're happening. So stuff like communication, emotional intimacy, spiritual connection, having fun and hanging out together, sexual intimacy, all of those things that are important for a relationship, if they are not just naturally occurring to the frequency and the type that you both feel like is good for your relationship, then you got to be intentional. You got to plan it. You got to schedule it. You got to prioritize it. You got to have a plan. If you just say, hey, listen, I wish we had a little more spiritual intimacy. I wish we prayed together. So we just got to start doing that. What are the chances you're actually going to do it? As opposed to if you're intentional and you say, here's what we're going to do. At 9 o'clock after the kids in bed, we're going to put our phones down for 15 minutes. We're going to spend 15 minutes together, reading a devotional, praying together, and maybe like playing a game together, whatever it might be that makes you feel connected. You just have to be intentional. So one of the keys to a successful marriage is not chemistry, spontaneity, everything just works all the time. It's intentionality. We've identified these things are important for us to feel like we have a great relationship, and we're going to be intentional. We're going to schedule it if necessary. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to make sure that it happens. That's one key. The second key is personal responsibility. Listen, in a marriage, you have both a relational responsibility to connect, to care for each other, to be intentional, like I just said. You also have a personal responsibility to own yourself and your own life, your emotional well-being, your mental health, healing your childhood wounds, dealing with trauma from past relationships or your childhood, taking note of your habits and behaviors and how they impact the relationship either positively or negatively. You own that. And what I'm seeing more and more with a lot of couples who are choosing to divorce, who are giving up on their relationship, it's not even that they couldn't solve a relational issue. It's because one or both of them was unwilling or unable to deal with their personal issues that now are negatively affecting the relationship. Because if I've got a bunch of trauma and baggage and stuff that I've not healed from, it at times can make it impossible for me to operate in a functional way in my marriage relationship. And so we have a personal responsibility that we got to own our stuff on behalf of the relationship. And even sometimes you probably are spending a lot. You've gone to counseling, you're spending a bunch of energy trying to fix the relationship, and you feel like you're putting in a lot of work and you're making zero progress. And I would say most of the time when that's the case is because one or both of you has a personal issue that is preventing the success of the marital efforts. And sometimes you got to push the pause button on a marriage. We're not going to put a whole lot of energy into the marriage relationship right now. We're just going to agree it's not where we want it to be, but we're both here and we're both committed because this is a season where one or both of us needs to put in some real individual work to deal with some wounds, some past trauma, some habits that are deteriorating our relationships, our emotional well-being, whatever it might be. In this season, we need to put way more energy into dealing with my personal stuff because that's making it so that I react in a way and I bring toxic behaviors to the relationship. We have a personal responsibility in our relationships to be as healthy as we can be so that we can bring the best part of us to the relationship. So you need to be intentional. We have a personal responsibility to deal with our stuff. And the third key to successful marriage is community. And if you watch any of my videos, and if you continue to watch these videos, and if you hear me talk anywhere, and if you read anything I ever write, you're going to hear community come up over and over and over and over again, because I believe with all of my heart that the number one key, if you press me, what is the one thing most important for marriage? I'll tell you community. Not communication, not conflict resolution, not the sexual relationship, community. Community is why I do classes in a group setting, because I believe in having people together with each other. Community is why I do retreats with 6 to 10 couples so that they are learning from one another. Community is why I have a marriage membership community, because I believe everything a couple needs is going to be found in the community of people they have around. And let me give a disclaimer. There's a big difference between community and camaraderie. Now, when I talk about community, a lot of people go, oh yeah, we got a lot of couple friends. We go out and we hang out, and we travel together, and cool. Do you talk about the deepest issues of your relationship? Do they know where you and your spouse are struggling most in the relationship? Do they know you or your spouse's habits that you are ashamed of and don't want to share with anybody? If not, that's not community. That's some friendships, and it's good to have some friendships, but you need some people around you who are raw and real about what's going on in their relationship, because guess what? Community is going to provide support for you in moments and times when your spouse is not supportive in the way you need. They're going to provide encouragement for you and your spouse in times when you need hope and encouragement for your relationship. They're going to provide security at times when you need some boundaries put on you from other people because you're not good at setting your own boundaries. You need accountability at times. Listen, if your spouse is your only accountability partner, you're setting yourself up for failure. Not fun to have a date night with the accountability partner that's been holding you accountable all week, right? So we need some outside people that we can use to hold us accountable, either individually or as a couple, for the things that we need to be doing in relationship. I believe that community is the most important thing for a successful marriage. Couples who are running together with other couples who are also intentional about their relationships have a much higher success rate of marriage. That's why we've created the whole marriage membership community. Here's what I'm gonna do. Since Halloween is right around the corner, I'm gonna give you a not so scary one-time good deal. Listen, what I wanna do is, if you need community, I promise you, our marriage membership is a place you need to be, where there's conversations happening that you are uncomfortable with, but you actually need. So what it does is it gives you a chance to be a fly on the wall and watch conversations and go, oh, people are really talking about this stuff. I thought I was the only one, and you'll wade into it. I've had not one, not two, probably 20 times where I've talked with a couple that I'm counseling, and I say, you need community, and they go, nah, we don't like sharing our stuff with anybody. And I said, promise you, just get in here. I'll give you a peek. Get in here. You don't have to say nothing. Just check it out. And without fail, especially on the wives' side, because they're usually the ones that are like, I don't know about that. They go, thank you so much for that. I went to the wives' meeting. I sat in, and guess what? I talked a whole bunch. Of course you did, because you saw that you weren't alone. There was other people just like you. So I promise you, here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna use a coupon code, SCARY, right? Because sometimes community is scary, and it's Halloween. So here's what I want you to do. If you want to get in a community, be a part of a community so that your marriage can succeed and thrive, you'll see a link below for the Altered Marriage Membership Community. If you go in there and you put in the coupon code SCARY, I'll cut the monthly price almost in half, from $29.99 to $19.99. So $10 a month off, $19.99 a month for you to be a part of a community. Going to help you get where you're trying to go and ensure that your marriage is successful, and a ton of resources. So you can use the code SCARY. I promise you, just try it out. You got nothing to lose. But I believe with all my heart that community is the #1 key, and one of the 3 keys to success in marriage. I hope that was helpful for you. I love to hear your thoughts on this, whether you're an anti-community, I'm a private person, I don't like sharing my stuff, or you have found value in community. Let's have a conversation right below this in the comment area. If we can help you in any area of your relationship, don't hesitate to reach out. Love to walk with you in your relationship journey. Until next time, see you right back here on Relation Shots.